Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and I make lifestyle videos here on YouTube. One of the journeys that I have been sharing is my infertility and TTC journey, and so many of you all are on the same exact journey and you all relate to me so much when it comes to this. So sorry if I sound a little off. I'm still getting over a sickness. But so today I am kind of answering one of the topics and questions that you all sent to me in our private TTC and infertility Facebook group. So if you are on this journey and it's the first time you're seeing this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel, but also be sure to check out our Facebook group that is private for those of us who are going through this and just need a little bit more support. So I'm going to be answering the question about how do you preserve your friendships as you're going through infertility and TTC. And to some people who maybe you're not on this journey or you're not going through it, like this might not make a lot of sense. And I think before actually going through it myself, I would have never really understood this topic because I mean, you're like, well, why would it affect your friendships? Well, I think it can affect a lot of different relationships, whether it's your family, your friends, or just anyone close to you in the relationships that you have. And the reason why it can affect it so much, I have found, is because like people who haven't been through it just don't understand it. And I've talked about it a lot, and I say that because I know firsthand, one of my friends, it took her a little while to conceive, and I just had this wrong mindset of, why is she so worried about it? It's not even been that long. Like, I just don't understand it. And I just truly had not been through it for me to understand. Like, of course, if it'd been years and years and years, I would have understood. But I think every single month that you're not getting what your heart desires, it's hard. And so now I have a different perspective on it. So when it comes to when it comes to preserving your friendships, I think it's up to you to really make sure that you give yourself grace and give them grace, and that you understand that they're not gonna really understand what you're going through unless they've been through it themselves. And so sometimes that might mean not sharing your journey with them or not sharing your story, and that's hard. And but I also feel like that's why a lot of people come to this channel and come to my videos, because it's hard to talk about this stuff in front of people or to people that won't understand. And sometimes people feel like if you're talking with them, they feel like you're wanting them to like have the answer, and you're wanting them to give you advice. And I think that is hard. That's something I've had to learn. It's just because somebody's talking to me about something doesn't mean I have to have their answers. It doesn't mean I have to give them advice. Sometimes we just want people to listen to us. And I think that sometimes that's where the whole friendship thing can kind of get a little rocky, is because you just want them to listen, not necessarily give you advice. Because if they were to give you the wrong advice, sometimes it can just emotionally be hard to deal with if it's not what you want to hear. And so I feel like it's just, that's like one aspect of it, is just them not understanding and maybe saying things that are hurtful or things that just you don't want to hear. And so I think either not sharing it with them or being very honest. Like, you're just gonna have to be very honest. If they say something, you have to explain why you feel this way. And a lot of times we don't want to get into that, and we don't want to even talk about that. So that's one part of it. Another part that it can be really hard is if you and your friend are both like in the same point in life, and you're both like trying to conceive, and then it happens for them very quickly and maybe not for you. And then having to see that, initially the shock is like, initially I feel like, from my experience, I think you're shocked, and then you might be a little jealous, you might be a little disappointed because it's not you. And sometimes at first you can have a little bit of resentment, but for me, which now I can handle it pretty well, and I just have a different way of thinking about it now. Whereas opposed to in the first year and a half, I would have probably had a little bit more resentment and just a little bit more just kind of like anger, not at the person, but just at my situation. And I think I've like really grown from that, and I've really learned, but it's definitely something that people experience, and I'm not ashamed to admit that because it's real life. So I just think that that part can kind of throw a wrench in your friendship if you don't handle it correctly. And honestly, we can't control people. We can't make them feel a certain way. We can't make them do things. So it's really up to us, I feel like, to really control ourselves and kind of be cautious of the things you say, the things you do, and what you share with people, but also how you react. And it can definitely be a learning experience, and I feel like during this journey you just have to give yourself grace and understand that, you know, it's an emotional roller coaster, and some days you're just not going to be happy, and some things that people say are going to be very hurtful at some times. It's just going to be hurtful, and it's just really like being able to process it and kind of get past it and not really holding it against people. And so I don't know, it's just preserving friendships and relationships in general with your family can be really hard in this time. And you know, I've heard a lot. I mean, I've learned so much from our support group and the different experiences that like people have like with this, and how, you know, and how dynamic it really can be, from anywhere from, you know, your mother-in-law like making suggestions. Like, that's not my instance, but I've seen where that's happened to a lot of people. Like just getting comments that are unwanted, whether it's your in-laws, your parents, your friends, or just people that you know. And so I don't know, I think you just got to be very intentional about your journey and about your relationships on this journey. So I totally understand where that topic and where that question came from. And a lot of times, so okay, if you are watching this video and say you're my friend, or say you are somebody that you're not going through this journey on your own, but you know people that are also on this journey, I want people to know that just because someone going on this journey does not share the journey with you, it doesn't mean that they don't think of you as like a close friend, or they don't think that they can't tell you. It's just sometimes it's just hard to talk about, and there's so many different aspects of it, and it's just a personal journey. And so if you have friends that you think are going through it, you don't know if you want to talk to them about it, you don't know if they want to talk about it, I really just suggest like probably don't bring it up unless they kind of start that conversation. And so it's just because it's so personal, and you never know at what point in their journey that they're on. Like, you never know. Like, for instance, one of my friends had like told me they're pregnant the day that I got, or the day that I had done my first blood test, and like Tyler had just got his results back from his first semen analysis, and they weren't good. And so us going on that journey and finding out those results the same day that they had told me that they were pregnant, like, of course they didn't know, and like I didn't blame them for anything, but I just felt so bad that I felt so like, of course I was excited for them, but I just couldn't be, I feel like, as genuinely excited as I would have been had that had not happened that day. So I think it's just realizing that sometimes if you don't know about their journey, sometimes you just don't know what people are going through. You don't know if I just had a test yesterday, or if I just, you know, my period just come, or something like that, or something triggered them. So I don't know, there's so many different components and aspects to it, and I just kind of want to explain it for those that are going through it, and then those who might know people. And I think that this journey is very personal, and it's just hard for people to talk about, and it's very hard to navigate your emotions through this, as as you're just learning. Like it could be something so new to you. So I don't know. I hope that this helped you all. I hope that it answered maybe your questions, or maybe you can just relate. So let me know in the comments if you kind of are on the same boat, or maybe you have a different perspective. I'd love to hear. And be sure to join the support group and follow me over on Instagram at Rachel McLaughlin, where I share my day-to-day life and kind of like updates and stuff on this journey. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.